Good afternoon and welcome to another Renegade Pro Tip. These pro tips are intended to start the process of building a foundation of proficiency for students and parents in dispersed learning environments. It's important that we do this because returning to traditional learning doesn't mean that we're no longer going to use Google Classroom. In fact, we are now one-to-one from second grade on up, so anywhere at any grade level that is one-to-one, the use of Google Classroom is strongly recommended, if not required. And so having that proficiency in Google Classroom for our students and parents is pretty important. With that being said, if you want to stay current on these pro tips for navigating Google Classroom or Bristol technology, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell notification on this video to be notified when new content is released. That way you can stay current on all the newest pro tips that we put out there, that I put out there. So, with that being said, today let's take a look at something that's very important. Let's take a look at to-do lists. We need to discuss this. Students have access to a to-do list, and for this, we're going to go ahead and start right in our lobby here, our classroom lobby. And so this to-do list is accessible right here. A student is logged into, this is Norman Green. He is my fictitious student. He is logged in and he's in his lobby. And so I can access the to-do list here. And I can see the assigned items that I have. And so this is arranged for me by due date. These have no due date. But if they did, this would be prioritized for all of my classes. What's due right away, what's due tomorrow, what's due the next day. Down here we can see this week. So we see the number of assignments that are due this week, next week, and later. We can filter here so we can see just what's due for Google Classroom 101 if we want to. We can navigate up here between these tabs from assigned to missing. We can see that my fictitious student Norman has a missing assignment here that was due Friday, July 24th, 2020. So it is way overdue. We can also see what Norman has done. In this case, he has not done any work, but in the event of like a live student, you would see what the student has marked as done. It is important to point out here that just coming in here and seeing that it's marked as done shouldn't necessarily validate whether the work is actually done. From a student side of things, you can go in and mark any assignment as done. So you'll want to look in here and follow up with your student to ensure that the work that they say is done is actually done and they haven't made a mistake. Let's go back here. You can also view in a calendar format the to-do list. So this would just take you to the same exact list that I just gave you in a calendar format. So it gives it more of a compartmentalized visual. Whichever method of organization works best for you or your student, that's the one you should access. To take a look at this from a Google Classroom, like if we're in the Google Classroom, you simply open that classroom. Go back home and show that again, relatively fast. So if I wanted to see, or access the to-do list from Google Classroom 101, I will click on that classroom. And I go in, find the to-do list. And again, it's the same interface with the same options. It's no different from the lobby to the individual classroom. So that, for the most part, is how students can stay organized. Google actually does this for them if the teacher is doing due dates on the assignments. Even then, it shows them exercises that they do. Now, viewing this is really all contingent on whether or not you have access to your student's account. If you have the student's password, right? there is another methodology for you to get guardian summaries. And the way we do that is the teacher has the ability to invite guardians. And so you can invite guardians by clicking the little link here, and we'll do this for Norman right away. Let's see if I can find it. So the process for the teacher, if Norman is in here, the process for the teacher, let's do for Joe, is we're going to click Invite Guardians, and the teacher would put your email address in here, right? And so you want it to be whatever email address you check most frequently. In some cases, it can be the email address. In most cases, it probably should be the email address that you use for Skyward alerts. So put in the email address, click Invite, and the parent will get a invite to set up the email, the assignment notices for guardians, or guardian email summaries. On the receiving end, what that looks like for the guardian is it looks like this. This is an example of what the email will look like to the parent, or what you will see as a parent if you subscribe to the guardian the guardian email notifications. And so it's actually quite easy to set up. It's relatively quick, and most of our teachers, I'm sure, would gladly put your email in there if they have not already. They may have done this already, but if you're not seeing these summaries, you will want to check your spam folder as well, because sometimes they will get caught up in the spam folder. So check your email spam folders. With that being said, this has been a fun and hopefully informative for you, an informative pro tip, Renegade pro tip. As always, remember to subscribe and hit that bell button for notifications as soon as we release new content here at Bristol Grade School. So thanks for watching.